It was a cold, moonlit night when Lucas, Emma, and Ben decided to explore the infamous Blackwood Forest. The forest, known for its eerie atmosphere and spine-chilling legends, had always been a place of mystery. But there was one story that stood out above the rest: the legend of the Dogman. The trio, armed with nothing but flashlights and their curiosity, ventured deep into the woods. As they walked along the narrow, overgrown path, the trees seemed to close in around them, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. The usual sounds of the forest, crickets chirping, leaves rustling, faded into an unsettling silence. The air grew colder, and an inexplicable feeling of dread began to creep over them. "I don't like this," Emma whispered, her voice barely audible over the crunch of leaves beneath their feet. "Something feels wrong." Lucas tried to keep his voice steady. "It's just a story, Emma. We'll find the old campsite and be out of here before you know it." Ben, the most nervous of the group, added, "Yeah, let's just hurry. I don't want to be out here any longer than we have to." They pressed on, but the deeper they went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The path seemed to stretch on forever, leading them further into the heart of the forest. Then, without warning, a low, guttural growl echoed through the trees. They froze, their flashlights darting around, searching for the source of the sound. "Did you hear that?" Emma's voice trembled with fear. Lucas nodded, his face pale. "Yeah, we're not alone." The growl grew louder, more menacing, and seemed to come from all directions. Panic set in as the friends huddled together, their flashlights sweeping the darkness. Then they saw it, two glowing red eyes in the distance, just beyond the reach of their light. Ben's heart raced. "What the hell is that?" The eyes moved closer, and from the shadows emerged a massive figure, half man, half beast. It stood on two legs, towering over them, its body covered in thick, matted fur. The creature's head was that of a monstrous wolf, with sharp, snarling teeth and eyes that burned like embers in the night. It was the Dogman, the very creature they had hoped was just a myth. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as they stared at the beast, frozen in terror. Then, with a burst of adrenaline, they turned and ran, the Dogman close behind, its heavy footsteps crashing through the underbrush. The forest became a blur as they sprinted through the darkness, branches whipping their faces, the cold air stinging their lungs. "Run! Don't look back!" Emma screamed, her voice barely carrying over the sound of their frantic escape. The Dogman's growls grew louder, its presence closing in on them. The friends could feel it getting closer, its breath hot on their necks. But just as they reached the edge of the forest, the beast let out an ear-piercing howl that froze them in their tracks. They turned to see the Dogman standing at the tree line, its red eyes glowing with fury. It seemed unable to cross the threshold of the forest, as if bound by some unseen force. The creature watched them with a malevolent gaze, its body tense and ready to pounce, but it did not follow. Gasping for breath, Lucas managed to choke out, "Why didn't it follow us?" The Dogman let out one final haunting growl before retreating into the shadows of the forest, disappearing as suddenly as it had appeared. The friends stood there, trembling, trying to process what they had just survived. They were safe, but they knew they would never forget the terror they had experienced. Some say the Dogman is bound to the forest, a guardian of its darkest secrets, hunting those who dare trespass. Others believe it's a curse, a remnant of something ancient and vengeful. Whatever the truth may be, Lucas, Emma, and Ben knew one thing for certain: they were lucky to have escaped with their lives. As they made their way back to the safety of their town, the eerie silence of Blackwood Forest returned, broken only by the distant howls that echoed through the night. The forest loomed dark and foreboding behind them, a place where the Dogman still lurks, waiting for its next victim. And so, the legend of the Dogman lives on, a chilling reminder that some stories are not just myths, and some creatures are not just the product of imagination.